Defense Secretary Lorenzana says the Philippines is not interested in buying more frigates after the delivery of the 2 warships from South Korea. Lorenzana says the Philippines will instead acquire smaller vessels. The Defense Secretary was responding to former National Economic and Development Authority Chief Romulo Neri's question. Neri asked if it's smart to buy expensive ships that enemies can sink with a single shot. Neri, who served during the Arroyo administration, says it might be wiser to buy smaller vessels manufactured locally. Lorenzana agrees with Neri, citing how 1 torpedo can sink an 8 billion peso frigate. But this is in contrast to assessments made during the Aquino administration that the country needs a minimum of 6 long-range vessels to be able to monitor the country's waters. The Aquino administration embarked on modest modernization after identifying China's aggressiveness in the West Philippine Sea as the biggest security threat. The Philippine Navy acquired 3 weather high-endurance cutters from the United States Coast Guard. It also acquired 2 frigates which are expected to arrive under the administration of President Rodrigo Duterte. The frigates became controversial after ousted Navy Chief Vice Admiral Ronald Mercado and the Defense Department disagreed on the combat management system for the warships. Mercado was removed for insubordination. Duterte turned around relations with China and is counting on Beijing's promise it will not occupy or build more structures on the West Philippine Sea. Philippine National Police Chief Ronald Dela Rosa says beating up upperclassmen at the Philippine National Police Academy should be stopped. Dela Rosa's statement comes after 6 PNPA fresh graduates were mauled by their underclassmen just after their commencement exercises on March 21. He says the on-and-off tradition upheld by the Academy students is not sanctioned by the PNPA administration. The tradition this year took a tragic turn when 6 graduates had to be admitted to a hospital. The attackers apparently used rocks and paddles. PNPA Chief Joseph Andol calls the attack as an isolated incident. The PNPA says 9 cadets will be charged with criminal complaints. Dela Rosa's own son, Rock Dela Rosa, is a cadet at the PNPA. He was not involved in the incident. Porn actress Stormy Daniels says she was threatened to keep silent about her alleged fling with United States President Donald Trump. Daniels wants to be released from a non-disclosure agreement she signed 11 days before the 2016 presidential election that brought Trump to power. She was paid $130,000, leading to allegations the payment amounted to an illicit contribution to his campaign. Daniels says Trump didn't ask her to keep their 2006 sexual encounter secret, but says she was approached by a man in a Las Vegas parking lot after agreeing to sell her story for $15,000 in 2011. She says, quote, "A guy walked up on me and said to me, 'Leave Trump alone, forget the story.' And then he leaned around and looked at my daughter and said, 'That's a beautiful little girl. It'd be a shame if something happened to her mom.'" Daniels says she was introduced to Trump at a celebrity golf tournament in Lake Tahoe in July 2006. He supposedly invited her to his hotel suite, the only time they had sex. She says Trump's wife Melania, who then had recently given birth to their son, came up only briefly during their encounter. Daniels says, quote, "I asked and he brushed it aside and said, 'Oh yeah, you know, don't worry about that, we have separate rooms.'" She adds, quote, "I didn't say no, I'm not a victim." Daniels says she stayed in contact with Trump after the encounter because the tycoon said he would try to get her on The Apprentice, the reality TV show he hosted at the time. She also says her main motive for speaking out now was to set the record straight. While Trump has been uncharacteristically quiet about the alleged fling, the White House has denied any sexual encounter between him and Daniels.